right then, so the next thing we need to do right now is to start building our cart. Yeah, we need to start building our cart page. Add item to cart, remove item from cart, and stuff like that. So yeah, so let's just start doing that. And the first thing we want to do is I want you to understand how this will work first. Okay, so on our cart page, let me just go back to and on our cart page. So once I click on add item to cart, I want to save it to the cart. Okay, and you can go to the cart page and remove the item. So once you click on add item to cart, you can't actually add the item to the cart again. So some people on some website, they can do add item to cart, and once you click, you continue clicking this, the quantity of the item that you added to your cart is going to keep increasing. But we don't want that here. We just want to keep it simple. So once you add an item to the cart, you can't actually double the quantity or anything, because if we to do that, it's going to be a little bit complex than this. I just want to keep everything simple. So we need to start building our Redux for that. We're using Redux as state manager to just manage the state and keep track of everything. So let's just start with our Redux. And if you notice, I do start with the constant. So I'm just going to create a new one and just call it cat.js. Okay, so basically we're going to have some few export constant export, and the first one will be export constant add. Okay, makes sense. We can just duplicate this and just call this remove item. Okay, so please follow me as I'm doing this, because this process is a bit complex. So the first one we want to do is go into our actions. Okay, we need to create some actions, and we can just call this cat.js. Okay, and right here we also want to export everything from cat. Okay, all right, so within our action we need to create some method that will help us to add um item to cart and remove item from cart. So let's just go and start doing that in export constant, and this will be add item. Okay, and this will have a payload return. Okay, we need to actually return a type of add item. Okay, just make sure everything works fine, and right here we can just pass on the payload. Okay, makes sense. This will be remove, and this will be remove item. Okay, yeah, basically this is all we need to do for this particular method. We only need these two methods, so let's close that. And the next thing we need to do is our reducer, guys. We need to we need to work on our reducers. I know this might sound a lot. You can use a single reducer for everything, but then I'm just building this in case we need to actually scale our product. We need to actually add a lot of functionalities, so we don't need to actually um, need anything to be breaking. So I'm just showing you how you can just separate your modules from each other. So that's like a good way to actually write your code. So this will be cat. Okay, this will be cat. So right here we want to define some couple of things. We don't actually need this. We need items. Okay, these items will be the list of all the items in our cart, and the total, this will be the total cost of all the items within our cart. Okay, simple as that. And right here, the first one we need to do is add items. Okay, So this will be items. So we need to actually spread this array because we actually want to append the item to the array. We're not replacing it, unlike we're doing for the category. We just want to append it. Okay, so there are a couple of ways you can add item to array, but we're using the spread operator this time. Okay, so you can just read on that on how to actually add items to your array. So this will be items, and we're just going to bring in our payload. Okay, and yeah, that's all. And the next thing, and this should be action dot payload. Yeah, I think that's all. And yeah, so we also need the total. Okay, so the total, we just need to do some arithmetics right here. Though this will be state dot total, okay, plus action dot payload dot price. Okay, so we'll be passing this price as part of the payload, and basically this is just all we need to do. And there are many ways to actually go around this, but I just feel like we need to keep this simple. So for the sake of those just learning JavaScript or React, I want to take their skills to the next level. So yeah, so that's just it. And right here we're just going to say remove item. So instead of using the spread operator to add, now we're just going to use it to slice the items. So this will be items, and this will be item dot splice. So this is a very good method, this splice. I can't go into details. Splice, we can pass an index to it. What this method is actually doing is it takes an index and just remove that index of the item from the list of items. So please learn more about all these things. There are things that could actually save you a whole lot of stress. So the next thing we can do is we can now spread this with, since we're removing that index from the list of items, we need to replace it with something else. So this will be items. Okay, this will be items. This is actually items. Let's just pluralize this because let's just pluralize it, so because we have more than just one item. So we need to also splice this. Okay, we need to also splice that. Slice, not splice, slice. That's another method called splice, and this will be index. All right, so this is all we need to do, and we don't have this index yet. Well, we're going to create it. So for the price, for the total, we need to also do some arithmetics, and this will be items dot length. Okay, so the total length of the item, if it's equal to 1, we're just going to say 0. Okay, and we can just say state dot total minus, okay, we say state dot total minus action price. Okay, so when you're removing that item, we just subtract it from the total. So if the length of the item is 1 and you're removing 1, that means you're left with 0. That's why you see this 0 right there. Okay, simple as that. But then to avoid getting negative value, we still need to check against this in our component. So we need to actually have an index right now, and we're going to be using the flitter method. So we say constant index is equal to state dot items. Okay, and we just like find index. Okay, find the index. We need to find the item within the list in the state. Okay, so this will be item This will be item.id equal to action.payload.id. Okay, makes sense. This is all we need to do. Everything looks fine now, and the last thing we need to do is to actually add our cat to our combine reducer. So this will be cat. Okay, let me just get that right. This will be cat, and right here we're just going to say, all right, so I think this is all. Yeah, so this is all we need to do. Then we can now go into our component and start using this method that we just wrote.